Today, we take a look at a period piece, a what if done to actual YouTube video of them. But we'll also explain the gist of it. We also will talk about why it seemed that Emma and Toby didn't tell anybody about Rick's bullying. And we also need to take a good look at why Emma protected Rick in the first place. To find out this on Cutter Degrassi Whatifs. Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another episode of Cutter Degrassi Whatifs. And this block will finish off this whole time stand still period piece, if you will. So anyway, the three of them are pretty decent in that. Our first what if has to do with Rick's bullying. Now, here's what's happening. In Time Stand Still Part 1, it's evident that basically Rick being bullied and all that, basically he didn't retaliate at all. And all that. Of course, the basic what if I wish I had done was what if Rick didn't retaliate? Well, Rick would have got lots of sympathy and all that. End of story. Like, that's too easy of a storyline. So I decided to go with a different one I thought off the top of my head. So anyway, as we all know, that Rick was complaining about Jimmy being on the Wacky Brain team in place of Hannah Sinclair, and that Toby and Emma heard him. Toby and Emma basically tell him to go to Simpson. Rick doesn't want to because he doesn't want to be a tattletale. So he goes to Radish because that was his ally, or was his ally, I mean. And then we all know what happened. So basically, Rick basically gets lucky that, after Toby gets hurt by Jay and Spinner, who were looking for Ricky, that basically he tells Jimmy during practice with Emma and Toby listening in that basically I shouldn't deserve this and all that. The true villains are your friends, and they're going to destroy Toby now because he's my true friend. Now, of course, he could have said, well, they could destroy Emma, but obviously because their cause was to destroy people who were domestically beating up on women, and basically, if they had basically did Emma dirty, they would basically not be better off than you think they are for the cause they were championing. So basically, yeah, it's like Simpson kind of saw something. Was Simpson telling Radish? I don't know. Who knows what Simpson would have done? Of course, Simpson basically told Radish off in the deleted scene that basically you're letting him go home early. What's your plan for him? He can't cause more harm if he's not here. And then Radish basically tells Simpson that, as far as I know, we're not in preschool and making friends is not part of the curriculum, meaning that Radish has missed the point again and all that. So basically, yeah, Toby and Emma obviously told the police and told their friends and family about how Rick was abused and was bullied and all that, and basically how nothing got done about it and all that. So basically, it's the what if is. What if Toby and Emma managed to talk to the right people and get Rick and get Rick on the positive side? Now, there's a good reason why this seems to be a little bit off in a sense. It's obvious because, it's surprising how Toby and Emma, it should be, what if Toby and Emma had gone to the administration with their problems with how Rick was being bullied? Now, Toby would have been a sympathetic case. Now, this is why it really didn't happen. Well, Toby, I'm actually shocked didn't, tell Radish or Snake or anybody about how Rick was being abused and all that. Toby was Rick's only true friend. And basically, they would have listened to Toby. Toby probably would have had a voice, even though that people thought that Toby was just a background character without a voice, if you will. I totally disagree. So when you're looking at it, it's like Toby would have got answers. Toby probably would have, been for Rick. but Toby probably would have been beaten up like Rick. Basically, they would have focused their attention on Toby. But you also got to realize, guys, that, Toby did denounce Rick in a sense after the shooting, all that. But remember, this is before Rick decided to shoot Jimmy, Emma. This is basically saying that Rick doesn't shoot. Rick doesn't have the ability to shoot any of his two victims. So what you got to look at is, what can you do? One obvious answer is that Toby would have got sympathy and all that. Toby would have got the job done, and who knows? He probably basically had a sour taste in his mouth for Raditch because Raditch spurned him. But with Emma, it's kind of complicated in a sense. Emma, like it says, what if Emma went to the administration about it? But this is different. Emma had an ally in her corner, her stepdad, that being the media teacher, that being a prominent member of the Degrassi community since the OG days, Archie Snake Simpson. I'm actually surprised that Emma didn't relay lots of information about Rick's abuse, at Rick being abused at Simpson. Maybe Simpson knew, but Simpson didn't act on it because maybe Simpson was afraid of being outed by his superior and all that. It seems to me that Simpson basically goes by the chain of command, and basically the chain of command is not good because remember, in season 2, when Emma does that genetically modified food thing and basically was upset that Raditch is basically punished her for nothing, Snake says, as a teacher, I can't really help you, but as a parent, I'll support you. So basically, he was conflicted and all that. I think Emma probably thought that Simpson was too loyal to Raditch and all that. But Simpson supports Emma and all that. I think in the back of his head, Simpson basically was thinking that Raditch and Emma had a falling out and all that because of this. Now, Emma probably would not have went to Raditch because she probably thought that he would not take her seriously. After all, it's not just the genetically modified foods things from season 2 that basically you kind of have a feeling that basically it was on Raditch's mind. But this was in Mercy Street. In Mercy Street, remember when Emma stood in front of the door, didn't want Rick past, and says, "We don't want Emma to score." Raditch says, "This is not one of your stupid crusades. I'm warning you." In a sense, Raditch still had a bone to pick with Emma. And, he had a reason to have a bone to pick with Emma, if you think about it. Because remember, Emma basically wouldn't back down to Raditch's demands. And on the video system, she even says that if I get suspended because of this stuff for a week, it's worth it. So in Raditch's mind, he obviously thinks that Emma is basically telling the school to disobey Raditch. And that Raditch trying to get control from the inmates, if you will. With how long he was principal and all that, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just basically in the old school philosophy. That basically, as principal, you do what I say, not what you do what I say. And not your own way. It's my way or the highway. In a sense, when he was a teacher, he was very likable and all that, noble. But when he becomes principal, that's what some people say. When teachers become principals, they basically change their tones a bit. Now, some of it could be because the school board puts expectations on people as being principal. You have to do it our way. Maybe Raditch had to basically bow to the school board, in a sense. And basically Raditch would have, like it. It's like Simpson. When he became principal, it became more unbearable, if you will. Because now he had to follow in people's footsteps. Now, I doubt he wouldn't want to follow in Raditch's footsteps because he knows Raditch followed up the Rick situation and basically his own freaking ego cost him dearly, and that's why the school board let him go. In a way, the school board might have been guilty themselves because, after all, when you analyze it nowadays, it's like, did the school board admit their guilt? Did the school board have to pay a price to Rick's parents? And basically they threw Raditch under the bus to appease everyone? They didn't totally fall him under the bus because he was still reassigned to another school. because if they had fired him, I think they probably would have been worried that Raj would have snapped back at them and sued them. And then the school board would have been in deep trouble. I mean, like, when I did that post a couple years ago, why did Emma not go to Simpson or anybody about the fact that Rick made advances on her after he got painted and feathered? Someone said she probably was just trying to get through the day, and then, after school, she tells Simpson everything in private. And she definitely won't go to Raj because Raj still had it in for her. Not just for her crusades, but because of the Orange Ribbon campaign. And I think Raj still had it in for Emma because of the Orange Ribbon campaign and all that. In a way, you got to be glad that his dismissal was because he didn't listen to the student. He didn't listen to Rick when he did it. I know Rick basically did it himself by not being better first at that. But imagine if Emma was targeted and all that. What if she got hit with a bullet? What if she got shot? Not dead, but like shot. Simpson would have had more ammo to destroy Raj, and basically Simpson would have been more gung-ho on Raj to do something about it, or else Simpson would basically tell the school board that Raj didn't protect his stepdaughter because Raj had a damn ego trip and a damn way of just trying to protect, and a damn I lost my verbiage, and a damn grudge against his stepdaughter for something stupid. Simpson would probably have said, I'm going to quit. I don't want to be in a system with you around. And then that probably would have Raj fired. But yeah, Emma could have told Simpson everything. Simpson kind of knew everything and probably telling Raj. But Emma didn't tell Raj for obvious reasons because she figured he still had the grudge against her. And I think she was right. All right. That was long-winded. Number 2 is basically, if I don't lose my head here. Now, as we all know, Emma was protecting Rick at that time. Everyone was wondering why. The answer was simple. Now, when Emma found out about Rick's problems in Mercy Street, she did all she could to get rid of him. She decided to go into Paige's Clique and do the Orange Ribbon campaign for domestic violence as both a way to get rid of Rick and for her to have friends. Remember, Emma lost Liberty and Manny as friends because she was petty over the fact Liberty wanted to date Chris and all that. Because she figures that, why would Chris want to date a loser when he could have had me? And of course, she basically was not happy about the breakup. I think she probably may have regretted the breakup. And she did. So anyway, yeah, so she's in Paige's Clique to destroy Rick and all that. And then Rick decides to give her money for the cause, Emma, money for the cause. Alex basically shoos him away. And Emma says, give me the check, Alex. And she rips it up and says, Alex rips it up. Emma says, nice. You don't know anything about the cause. And then Alex basically snaps on her saying that, oh, I do. I have to deal with my mom's abusive boyfriends and all that. You don't know what it's like to help your mother out. Now, Alex would have been a sympathetic figure with this thing. But, it doesn't excuse the fact that Alex wanted to beat up Rick. I think she envisioned every one of her mom's abusive boyfriends basically in Rick's body and basically wanted to beat the shit out of them because, she felt helpless that she couldn't help her mom out. So in a way, she could help her out. People do that sometimes. But anyhow, yeah, and basically Emma is told by Paige not to have any feelings towards Rick. Like sympathetic feelings. Not love feelings, but sympathetic. Emma decides to trip up Rick to prove to Paige's Clique that she's still part of their group. She does, and basically Rick goes up to talk to Emma. Whoops, here go the boys. The boys are going to beat him up. Alex is going to beat him up. Emma says, no, this will not do. Everyone says, how can you be such a hypocrite? Your cause is over. No cause is worth this. Basically, Emma knew that they were taking the cause indirectly and all that. Basically, Rick thanks her and all that and says that, you have an affection for me. No, actually, Rick doesn't say that. Emma basically says, I only protected you because I did what was right. This has nothing to do with a relationship. I did it for your safety. But Rick doesn't take that seriously enough and then basically thinks that Emma's got something to do with him. And I think Rick, in a sense, was basically wanting the fact that they basically were poisoning Emma's mind, Paige's Clique. And then, of course, Emma was part of the group with the Wacky Brain with Heather St. Clair and Toby, Rick, and Emma. So anyway, yeah, those were Emma's only friends. I mean, like, it took a while before Manny and Liberty talked to Emma. I think Manny basically talked to her mostly in secret. And I think Liberty, I don't know when Liberty made up with Emma. But in a sense, Emma basically was trying to hold on to friends and all that. That was the one problem she had, especially after season 4, after her zombie Emma phase. So basically, what you got is, like, what if Emma did not stand up for Rick? It's hard to tell what would have happened. I don't know. What if Emma stood aside for Rick? I mean, yeah, like, once an abuser, always an abuser. Maybe Emma takes that to heart. But the events of her dealing with Liberty and Chris landscaped what she did. Personally, I think Rick would not have had an ally. Maybe Toby wouldn't be his ally. Remember, Toby and Rick both have affections for Emma. And they had that kissing contest. Emma gave him a kiss out of pity. Good enough. But in a sense, it's going to be like, Emma did the right thing, but she got punished for it. It seems that way. Season 5, she basically does the right thing by letting Spike know about Snake's trees with Hatzalakos, and yet she's getting punished. She has to do all the stuff around here. Why can't Manny do things about it? Why can't Spike do anything about it? I'm shocked that Emma didn't just blast at Spike. Because I was picking up the slack for you, and you seem ungrateful. And all that. And then in season 7, when she tries to help Snake out after Darcy's allegations and all that, and Spike leaves the house with Jack in tow. Emma's brother. Emma is being punished for doing the right thing. And Spike's saying that you can't let Emma take control of things and all that. Seems like fucking jealousy to me, Spike. Emma's character might just be as hated. Like, the first 3 seasons, I think a lot of people hated on them. I wouldn't be surprised if the writers basically listened to everyone's complaints about Emma and basically turned Emma to a more sympathetic figure, like more of a normal teenager. But that doesn't work because people think she's bland and vanilla. But Emma did the right thing. I have a crush for Emma too. And finally, number 3 has to do with a story I've done and all that. So I'm just going to get on the internet because I have to get to that specific video and all that I did in my Degrassiisms. Okay, so anyway, I don't like to plug things, but my Degrassiisms has a total of, let's get it loaded up here, people. Sorry about that. Sometimes my computer can be so freaking slow. I just need the playlist stuff. Here we go. I have 82 videos in the thing, and I haven't done one for a while. Haven't posted one, updated it for a while. So, of course, I talk about the Degrassi shooting timeline, and a lot of it has to do with it. I don't know how many videos has to do with it. And basically, I talk about Degrassi episodes and all that. Storylines. Oh, what am I doing? Here we go. Now, on Degrassi, if you search, and let me get my keyboard. So, if you go on YouTube and search Degrassi Fan Fic 2 and enter Degrassi Fan Fic 2. That's how you say it. So Degrassi Space Fic 2. I said this is the fan episode I did of Rick going to trial if he ever did have a chance to go to trial instead of dying. And then you can actually see like my playlist and all that. So if you go to that, Degrassi Fan Fic 2, and it's the only YouTube video that says Degrassi Fan Fic 2. Like, you just do a YouTube search. You don't have to search my channel. You just search in general. Basically, I do that one. I don't know if Fanfic 3 would actually be in the recommended videos too, but like Degrassi Fanfic 3. Because 2 and 3 are basically what if I want to do is what if Rick had survived and Jimmy had died. So basically, when I did the when I did this fanfic last year and tried to act out, not I couldn't really act in other people's voices because that's fucking impossible in my mind. So what I did was I basically tried to do it in a style that, Sean's dead and Jimmy's dead, and then Rick's on trial. That Rick didn't succeed on killing himself or he was still alive. I don't really want to spoil it for you and all that, but basically, yeah, it's a grim thing and all that. Now remember, there are a few opinions I have that are different nowadays. I did that last year as part of the 15th anniversary of this Time Stand Still thing. Like I did my research, I did everything I could, I even inserted myself as a character. Now, in my headcanon, J.D. Wallace basically was a good guy who basically was pissed off at Raj, who was basically hired by Degrassi writers to be a foil to Raj and basically get him out of the show in season 4, basically get rid of him. In my headcanon, I've come up with a scenario that basically I see Raj leave with his stuff, and then I basically want to shake his hand. And basically, once he starts to shake my hand, I basically push him aside, push him down, and then I throw my box of stuff, his box of stuff, on top of his head, and said, "This is for Rick, and this is for Emma, and this is for everyone who's sick and tired of you." And basically, I get in trouble for hurting Radish. And then basically, I want revenge on everyone who wronged Emma because I still had a thing for Emma, and I still wanted Emma to feel that basically I could be a good boyfriend. I at least protected her. And the school basically shunned her, except for Toby, Heather Sinclair, and Jimmy. Basically, I would make it my mission to hurt the ones that hurt Emma. I would go after Paige because Paige basically spread the rumors about Emma being a hypocritical bastard. I would take out Jay and Spinner for their roles in the crime, basically beat them to a pulp. I wouldn't beat up Alex because, of course, unbeknownst to me, Alex didn't know. I didn't know about Alex and in her role. Basically, I would leave Alex alone. Basically, I would try to destroy everyone. Snake would obviously be mad at me for the fact that, I had an affection to Emma, and basically, he was upset because he was worried that if Emma had spurned me, I would go like Rick Murray and take a gun to her head. I wouldn't. And then basically, I have a group of people who basically do my bidding for me, but then they would try to hurt Snake and Emma. So basically, I had to pay them off, and basically, I get in trouble for my conspiracy to destroy Radish and everyone else involved. Go to jail for 3 years, come back somehow in Degrassi and become vice principal under Snake's tutelage because people wanted Snake to be punished for what his role, and probably forced Snake to resign, but it doesn't work. I don't know. I'm just weird that way. All that. So basically, yeah, it's like, bottom line is that, it would have been nice to see Rick go to court and all that and see all these emotional testimonies and all that. But the problem is going to be like, where do you put the Rick trial in season 4? Like, I mean, after all, like, in a normal trial, it usually is like a month and a half after what had happened. So basically, as we all know, in that time frame, like Raj was gone and all that. But they'll still probably put Raj on trial because, he got reassigned, but that would be basically for his life as a school administrator. So anyway, yeah. So, of course, in the description, I'll put what you search for in YouTube. It's just a general search. You don't have to search my channel. You just have to search that in general. So anyway, thanks for watching and have yourself a very good day.